Hey YouTube, hey, just getting video me changing the pickups in this guitar. This is the Antoria Les Paul, which I'm just checking it to make sure it's working just now, because the volume controls, the tone controls weren't working, and literally I've just realised what the problem was. So neck pickup, volume control, tone control, yeah, bridge pickup, volume control, tone control. So they are working, they're just in wrong. So it should be volume, volume, tone, tone, and it's not, it's volume, volume, tone, tone. So now, basically my first thing I was doing was checking to, I was aware that the pots weren't working. Well, I thought the pots weren't working, so I was going to plug it in and make sure it worked before, or make sure, see if I could contact clean them or anything like that to make them work. So they are working, so I will probably be putting this back to normal layout, so you get neck volume, bridge volume, neck tone, bridge tone. Pretty simple. So that's basically stage one. That amp's actually been quite noisy just now. Turn it off. Oh, I know what it is. It's on the wrong channel because I unplugged the foot switch. Yeah, so what I'm going to be putting in it, the chap who ordered it bought these pickups out of an old Greco, which I am going to test before I put them in the guitar. That's normally a good idea. So these are definitely, well, they're very, they look much more like it. Get a bit of patina on them as opposed to these, which are, I don't even know what they are, but they're kind of brassy looking, whereas these, well, I'm maybe tempted to give them a bit of a wipe. I might give them a quick, just to get them a bit less actually physically dirty looking. These could be cleaned up a little bit more than this, but I just want to get it so that you don't actually get dirty fingers when you play the guitar. Just make it look a bit better. Not putting any excessive amount in it. Wow, they are incredibly vintage looking. That might be, well, I don't know. I made a mistake before on my Schecter Telecaster that I thought, oh, the hardware kind of looked like this. So I was like, I got the Brasso out and it took off the brass colour. So my Schecter Tele now has what looks like chrome bridge and stuff on it, so don't do that. So I'm just going to measure these out and work out what they are, and I suppose we'll find out which ones. Well, that one's only got that much wire on it, this one's got this much, so this is pretty much going to be the neck one, isn't it? Oh, we've got a free screw stuck to the bottom of it. Right. So let's make sure these work before I do anything else. If you've never used one of these, they're stupidly cheap. You get them in Aldi and stuff like that, but if you buy this exact one on eBay, it's like I always said they were like £6 or £7. I think they're about £3. Pure ridiculous. Almost cost the same for the battery. So red one goes into the voltage ohms milliamps socket, and the black one goes into the COM socket. And you set it to 20k ohms down here. And then we go that, and then we look at that and we say, right, it was measuring 1. That's not right. Why is it not working? Turn it off and turn it on again. It should be measuring nothing. Oh no, one is, sorry. 1 means infinite resistance. Yeah, not okay. Yeah, so here we go. I will be tightening up these, oh, where's my Stanley knife blade that I normally keep on top of my stereo? There. These wires have just been snipped off the last guitar. Get a wee bit of a contact on it. Bite that off. There we go. Okay. So this is, I reckon, was the neck pickup, and we're expecting, oh, I don't know, what's a PAF of 8 or something like that, something along those lines, or 7 in this case. So 7 in the neck, and working. Well, yeah, no, we'll be working, because I mean, if a pickup is a really simple thing. You break it down, it's just a wire wrapped around a magnet. So, and the 2 wires you've got are just the start of that bit of wire that's wrapped around the magnet and the end of that bit of wire. So if there's nothing there, then it's broken. If there's something there, it's working. Pretty much it. I suppose technically you can have, the magnet might have fallen off the bottom or something like that. I've had that before as well. 6.98. Right, so these are definitely on the vintage side. But the ohms don't necessarily make it a louder or there's a thing called Henry's you're meant to use to measure how powerful the output of a pickup is. If you look up Josie Warman's site, you'll see he'll tell you, he tells you the Henry values of his. Oh, sorry, I'm selling some stuff on eBay, so I'll be watching. I was going to do this live, which would probably have been quite good, but I couldn't work out how to turn on this camera. When I went live, it just used the camera that's up there, so I never bothered. So, box, we're putting all the screws that came out of this guitar in. Really strange, that's not the normal shape of output of a cavity cover. Also, 6 screws. Just goes to show you the expense involved in this guitar. Gibson wouldn't put 6 screws in the back of it, because you could save probably 50 quid every month on just screws by only putting 4 in. Also, that's one of the things that got me with my pal Jerry. I'm going to slag off his guitar, I'm sure he won't mind. And it happens with a lot of modern ones. The Gibsons especially, the cavity cover's made of that sort of plastic, you know, like old Ford, my Ford Orion dashboard was made of, kind of rubbish. So basically the first thing we do is, in fact, M250K, 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 M250K. Oh, they're both running off the same. I think they're all alpha pots. How the hell is that? Oh, okay, there, I see it now. I'm tempted just to take these out actually, so I can get at them a bit better. What I'll do is I will turn on my soldering iron. And I really like this soldering iron because it's got a digital display on it, like so. So you can actually see when it's on. It's saying 480, but it's actually at 7 degrees. So when that gets up to 480, it's hot enough. Just the difference in that, I mean, the actual soldering iron is pretty much the same, but it's like actually having a light telling you that it's on, and one that tells you when it's got to temperature, rather than turning it on and then just kind of going, is it hot enough yet? Is it hot enough yet? It's worth the extra money to buy one that's actually got the display on it. So really, strings off. Technically I should probably just be cutting these, but I'm not going to bother. I will be, I'll give the fretboard a bit of a polish while I'm in here. But this guitar plays fantastic, as it is. It's got the original plastic saddles as well, or nylon saddles, which I was actually got a pile of guitar magazines off my pal. That's a vintage Les Paul thing that some people say that the nylon saddles, to get the proper sound of a Les Paul, you need to have the nylon saddles. Well, could be it. Actually, I've had a few cheapy. Oh. Sorry. As I said, I would be. These tuners seem to be. Well, that one's a little bit stiff, but they're the original ones. I kind of don't want to polish the gold parts in this too much, as I said earlier on, in case I take off the brass coating, which is kind of quite likely. I can go there and take that off. An ST bridge. Does it say anything on the bottom of it? It doesn't. That's a very light tailpiece. That tailpiece weighs nothing. Normally they're quite heavy. Who's to know what these things are? Right, so I'm going to disconnect these pickups. And then I guess I'll swap. Well, should I swap it round? Yes, I'll make it like a normal Les Paul. It's possible that they were never really meant to be like this. Alright, so we've got the switch. So these two grey ones must be, that's the output. That's the, no, the red and the blue. Okay, yeah, red and the blue. Does that make them Epiphone? Be interesting to see what these pickups actually are. The guy who bought it said, the guy who sold them, it said they were Epiphone pickups, but I'm not sure. In fact, you know what, I'm just going to snip that rather than trying to melt the pots. Trying to melt the back of the pots where the earth wire is. sometimes takes ages, so there's plenty of wire here, so I'm just going to snip it off, and then I'll unsolder the hot lead. So if I just take that one in there, get out your bam. One. These are coming out anyway, as I said, because I've got to put them in the right place. Actually, it's probably just as well I'm not doing it live as well, because I've got my pal Alex is coming over to pick up a guitar box, and as I said, I'm trying to sell things. I've got my Alesis monolith up for sale just now. Have I got getting comments? Blacktree Fox wants to get a line 6 amp. Marketplace is rubbish. It keeps saying I've got a message from Marketplace, and it's like, it's not. I missed a guitar last night. I'm really pretty cheesed off about a Parker Fly, which is really cheap. My pal sent me it, Alan sent me it, and it never showed up on Facebook Marketplace. It decided instead last night, I was sitting, had my laptop on, Facebook Marketplace decided to tell me about a Boss Katana 3 or 4 times during the night. That was it. The same one. It didn't bother telling me about any other guitars or things that were close. It was in Kirky as well, so it was only like 5 minutes drive away, and it was really cheap. I never saw it, I couldn't even find it. So Marketplace are bastards, basically. Well, it wasn't lying. They are Epiphone pickups, because they say Epiphone in the back of them. They're probably alright, actually. Well, this guitar's one of your... It's very hollow. Very hollow. This is not going to take long. I need to ask him whether he wants 9s or 10s on it. But Les Paul 10s, isn't it? I might give. Right, so there's the neck and the bridge. Does the pickup on the neck look long enough? Yeah, I would say it was exactly the same. So, Epiphone pickups out. Actually, I thought the Epiphone pickup sounded quite good. It's just that they weren't really they're not originals. The fact that this guitar actually came with the original Maxons and they don't work, which is a shame. They're just like, I'm so pleased that I actually decided to check the Maxons though before I put them in. It was just when it was actually live in the video when I was showing you the pickups. It was like, oh, what's that? I could see a wee hair of wire sticking out, and then it's like both of them are dead. They're probably worth rewinding, but I mean, maybe just because they're so old, maybe they hadn't used the strongest wire or something, or just, I suppose you don't know where these things have been. It might have been extremes of temperature. It'd be nice if these oh, multimedia mode. Aha. So I basically had to swap over the 2 control pots. So that was originally that was neck volume, bridge volume, neck tone, bridge tone. So I swapped these 2 over. So now it's neck volume, bridge volume, neck tone, bridge tone. As you can see from the new pickups, you get 2 wires coming out. You get a shield. I don't know how zoomed in this is. You get a shield and the hot. And if you look there, you can see that there. So there's your neck, which is red. I always remember that as red neck in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the hot onto the input. This is lug 3. They're numbered from looking at it from the top, so it's 1, 2, 3. Someone's burnt that with a soldering iron before. So 1 goes onto the casing of the pot and the volume control. The middle one is the output. So you put the signal goes in here, round the pot and out here. This one here, this will go to the switch up here, and the hot also, the output also goes to this tone control, which all this does is this pot varies the tone control, how much of it gets bled off into the cap through earth. So it's pretty simple stuff, and that's the reason this is a 2-core, is just to join the earths in the back of the caps, the centre point. And it's exactly the same with this one, apart from, so you got the input from the pickup, the output from the pickup, and then obviously these 2 wires, the ones that go out the way, go up to
the three-way switch up here, and then come back out of this one here, which goes to the output jack. Simples. So, get some live soldering on the go. So what I'm going to do, like I always say, is you put solder onto these wires first before you try and connect them up. So I'm just going to, they're actually kind of hanging there quite nicely. So I'm just going to put a bit of solder on the tip, like that. A little bit of solder on this, like that. A bit of solder on this. Again, this is the sort of thing that's just it's really just. Do you know how long to do this for? It's just. Let me just clean some of the solder off the soldering iron there. Right, so redneck. So I'm using these tweezers just to make things a little bit easier. So this is going onto this here pot here. So if I just heat that up, stick that in there. Bazinga. Give it a couple of seconds to make sure it's nice and solid. It's nice and solid. Bend these out of the way. I want to put the shield onto that blob of solder there, which actually looking at it might not quite be long enough. Is it going to be long enough? It's long enough. I'm just poking all this stuff out of the way because it gets hopefully I should be able, I've actually not got the right soldering tip on this. I thought it was a great idea putting the really thin one on, but the problem with that is you can't, it's not that easy to solder. See, I've already just burnt the casing there. Go away, out of the way. You two just get out, go down here out of the way. Never we're actually done. Go away! Right. Really just want to melt that onto there. Bang, and that should be solid. Right, and that was unfortunately that was the easy one to get to. You can tell how quite a lot of the problem with soldering and people can't do it is because it's such a tight space you're often stuck in. It's not too bad on this, but on like sometimes you get much smaller control cavities and it just becomes really tight. That's why whenever I suggest someone who's going to try soldering, what you do is just practice soldering some stuff together outside the guitar. Let's see, what's happened here is there's not really enough wire for me to get to, I don't know if you can see this point here, so I'm going to stick it on there because that's going to earth anyway, so if I just stick that on there, there's a bit more room in there. Because so, although on this one here I put it onto the back of the pot, which it should be, as I said, this terminal here is connected to the back of the pot anyway, so just for space sake, if I'd maybe stretched that a little bit longer I could have made it go to there, but it just goes to there, so that's fine. Yeah, so there's a bit of wiring. What I didn't show you was someone came to the door, plus I had half an hour of trying to find the stupid screws that hold the pickups in, because these are, you get kind of mainly two different sizes. You get wee ones and big ones, and there's lots of big ones, and the Epiphone pickups had big ones and these had wee ones, so I had to search through my, I don't know if you can see it, my big box of screws because I never throw anything out. It took me like half an hour to find them. So they're in, knobs are all there. Okay, ready to rock. I can turn this off now on my phone. Technology, eh? Hey YouTube, if I was clever I stitched this onto the end of previous video when I swapped the pickups. So this now has much more correcty looky Greco pickups rather than those Epiphone ones, which actually were fair enough, pretty decent pickups. They just were the wrong colour, whereas these are, well, I don't have Velcro on my new tuner, so my super stretchy lead is pulling my tuner off the hammer. Yeah. Okay. Yep. So this is the. I did a wee bit of fret work on this. It was actually playing really well, but it had obviously been stoned. You know, you just kind of level the frets, so I crowned them a bit to make them a bit more fret shaped rather than being square. So it does sound different, and it.
bridge pickup, neck pickup. See if the reverb's on. It's now. A bit faster than that.
Ugly bit.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I am going to upload this video as this little section on my own privately, just to see if, I know the Beatles are really bad for copyright strikes, so I might get the whole thing demonetised or just basically cancelled, because that might have been a little bit close. To be fair, that is the first time I've played When My Guitar Gently Weeps since I was in a band called G-Rock, and that must have been, whoa, yeah, 20 years ago was the last time I played that song. I suppose watching the Beatles Get Back thing, I've still not watched the second or third part, so so this video might be in, or no, maybe nobody will ever see this video, or I might put it out just, I don't know how it'll work. But yeah, these pickups are much more what they should be. They're not particularly high output pickups, they're quite low, but it's the sound I think they should want. Hold on, put on the rat pedal. I better get a copyright strike for Steve Evan now. And I put the volume controls so they're in the right place now. They were working. They were volume, volume, tone, tone instead of volume, volume, tone, tone. So now they're right. This is a very nice guitar though. This is probably my favourite Les Paul of all the ones. Well, I don't know how much these are going for now. I actually looked up eBay, and there was someone trying to sell one for like 400 quid or something. It's like, maybe, I don't think there should be as much as that, but if you can, the colour really does it for me. It's a really nice sort of silvery gold. I do need to put the Velcro on the bottom of that tuner pedal because this stupid curly lead's pulling my pedal onto the floor. But very nice. It does, what was I going to say? The tuners are the original ones and they're a little bit stiff and not very good, but they do work and it doesn't go out of tune, so I'd be tempted to leave them just because they look right. But it's got a nice ringiness to it. And I don't think, to be honest, I think this might be plywood. I'm not sure. I didn't really look inside it that much, but I don't think this is your solid mahogany body with a maple cap on it. I don't think. Now, isn't it? I think this is maybe just a guitar that's been played quite a lot, but always looked after. I think that might be the difference. Anyhow, your guitar's ready, and you were quite right to give this guitar to me to change the pickups over. These pickups are much more what this guitar should have in it. Much more your PAF Grecco. They didn't, to be honest, they didn't. I trust they were from a Grecco. I don't know. They look old enough. They're pretty. I gave them a little bit of a wipe so you didn't actually get dirty fingers touching them, but I left them so they match the rest of the guitar very well. Probably much closer to the Maxons, the broken Maxons that would originally been in it. So, if this goes up, rock on. If the Beatles don't get, although I suppose that was me playing an Eric Clapton thing, wasn't it? Even though I recently decided that Eric Clapton's a dick and I don't like him. But that's a Beatles song with a Clapton solo in it, so that doesn't count. Rock on!